Back in August of 2015, ISIS destroyed a majority of a mixture of Roman, Persian, and Mesopotamian ruins in the city of Palmyra, Syria. After Syrian forces drove ISIS out of the area, they discovered mass graves of mostly women and children, as The Independent reported in May of 2015. Opposition activists claim that hundreds of bodies littered the streets. They said that many of the victims were from groups or families loyal to the government. Amongst the dead were state employees, including the head of the nursing department at the city hospital and all of her family members. At least 400 Syrians were brutally tortured, beheaded, and mutilated in Palmyra, Syria. Now, as a supposed act of defiance, the Institute of Digital Archaeology, Harvard University, and UNESCO are erecting 43-foot-tall, 23-foot-wide arches of the Temple of Baal in New York Times Square and London's Trafalgar Square. And the date to unveil the arches falls directly on the celebration of the all-important pagan holiday, Beltane. Also, the anniversary of the massacre of the Branch Davidians at Waco and the Oklahoma City bombing, April 19th. Michael Snyder of the End of the American Dream writes, "But these are not the only two giant arches that are going to be made." The New York Post writes that the Institute for Digital Archaeology ultimately hopes to put 1,000 of these arches in extremely disturbing development. Baal worship is definitely not something that we should be celebrating as a society. The name of the city of Babylon is believed to have originally come from an Akkadian word that meant gate of God or gateway of the god. So could it be possible that we are laying out a couple of giant welcome mats erecting these giant arches in New York and London? Could we be opening up gateways and portals that are extremely dangerous and that we simply do not understand?
We don't understand.
And for those of you unfamiliar with Baal worship, it involves human sacrifice, public bisexual orgies, and the offerings of the children produced from these orgies to the ancient Babylonian god Baal, or Bel, which means Lord, which is actually a catch-all phrase for a host of deities that sprang from Mesopotamian mythology. And if you think those things all happened in the past, mistaken. Another offshoot of Baal is that of the god Marduk, who can be traced back to the Sumerian king Nimrod. And Nimrod is the seed that branches out into a host of occult deities, one of those being the god Moloch, the very one worshipped at Bohemian Grove by world leaders. John Bound for Infowars.com.
In the decade after iodine was added to staple foods, there was a 15-point increase in IQs in the areas that had previously been deficient. This is something on record our bodies need. I've gone out and found the best source for myself and my family. I hope you'll visit InfoWarsLife.com and get our InfoWars Life Survival Shield, because all of my research shows this is absolutely key to getting people out of the brain fog that they've been artificially put into by the social engineers.